Hey, I'm that Halloween movie collector, Pat. This is going to be my year-end review of all the Halloween, well, not all of the new Halloween collectibles that came out, just my personal top five. But I will also be joined by my good friend and fellow Halloween collector, Chicago Boogeyman himself, Brian from Chicago, who's going to go through his top 10 new officially licensed items of the year. So we're going to show each countdown from 10, compare our items, and show a couple of real cool not necessarily non-official items, but maybe some rare items or some custom items that we picked up as well. So I hope you enjoy this year-end review, sharing it with my good friend and fellow collector. And I'm going to bring in Chicago Boogeyman right now. Brian.
Hey, Pat. Good to see you, my friend.
What is going on?
Just been looking forward to this for the last couple of days. Been getting my list ready, and it was much more difficult than I had anticipated. It really was. Like who would have thought that almost 45 fucking years after this movie comes out that we'd still be getting like more and more merchandise by the year. It's great as a collector, but it's just it's an anomaly. It really is.
This has to be one of the well, I would probably say not necessarily the most expensive year of collecting, but probably the year that I probably got the most stuff, because every other week there was something coming out, mostly Halloween 2 related, because Universal was just whoring it out and putting it on everything that stood still. I mean, they must have stole the Kiss playbook on what can we put our brand on next.
Right.
But yeah, this shit, yeah, because what I did was, usually when I get a new item, as you know, just like you do yourself on your Instagram page, I put the new item up there. And that, I've told this story many times, that's like my visual database. If I'm out and about and I see something that's great, I could just click on there and be like, oh, I do have this, or a different version of it, or a variation. Yeah. So I just went there and I just scrolled through my whole Instagram thing and wrote down everything that I picked up this year.
I did the same exact thing.
There you go. See, crazy minds think alike. So that's the way I did it. And it was a little tough to narrow it down to 10, but I just said, you know what, these are the 10 that I thought that were really cool, or just, I liked a little bit more than the other. And then if there's a few other things, I did put aside some other things I did pick up this year that not necessarily are official releases, but they're official Halloween items. But, I love the promotional stuff. So there's a few things I did pick up, and I'll show some of that. And I know you have a lot of really cool custom stuff. Anything you want to show, we got time. It's if you got the time, I got the time.
All righty. Looking forward to it.
All right. So, as we said, this year was the year of Halloween 2. And I have my list here. I don't know if I can put my eyes on because I got to deal with the glare. See, fortunately, I don't have the glare. So I'm just going to try to look at it. Well, actually, my number 10 is not one of the Halloween 2 items on the list yet. My number 10 is, I have everything sitting next to me, so I will be bringing it out. And this was, I want to make sure because I put them in my order. But they were able to get it after a while, because a lot of people like yourself and I did pre-order these online. My number 10 is the Hedge bobblehead from Spirit Halloween.
Yes. What a great item.
Oh, yeah, this is great. And I love all those savvy people that were taking pictures by the hedge holding the bobblehead.
Oh, absolutely.
Out in Pasadena.
So clever, definitely. And
something I would be doing if I was out there.
Oh, of course, man. I'm so impressed by like the Royal Bobbles and their increasing Halloween output like every year. I think we got 3 of them this year, right?
Yeah.
Man, like I was just, and they kept getting better too.
What I'm worried about is like they went for the gold and got the Ghost Bob. Well, not the Ghost Bob, the Bob on the wall one. And I'm like, all right, guys, you're really gonna have to up your ante next year. So let's see what they come up with. Yeah,
again, that is no spoilers, but the Bob bobblehead is way up there on my list. It was such a spectacular piece, and yeah, like the and like the Hedge, like bobblehead, completely unexpected, just like showed up, like on the Spirit site, and I'm like, holy shit, that thing's awesome. I just love how they take these iconic scenes and they just make them into like these amazing pieces, and like they're so well done too. They're well crafted. they're well painted. You know, a lot of work was put into these. You know, they weren't just slapped together. You know, these are nice, high quality pieces of, you know, work, you know, for sure.
Yes,
And
they did do a nice job. But it's just they're getting better and better. Keep it up. No
absolutely,
complaints.
absolutely. I put, you know, I put in my suggestion for, you know, 2023, which was, you know, I want to see him do like a clothesline scene. You know, have like Michael behind the clothesline. So I suggested that to them right after they put out the Bob figure. So hey, you know, we'll see what comes out in 2023. But if that does come out, I want some fucking credit of some kind.
Yeah, right. Say, let's go. Waiting
Right,
for
right.
that idea.
Come on, come on. All
So,
right.
what's your number 10?
So my number 10, I went with somewhat of a novelty item over here. You know, I went with the Halloween 2 Chia Pet. I thought this was hysterical, hysterical. You know,
Yes.
as a kid, I had this weird obsession with these Chia Pet things. For whatever reason, I was just fascinated with them. So, you know, I got a couple for, you know, like Christmas and everything, and you know, had the Chia, you know, commercial tagline in my head for fucking years on end. And when this thing showed up, I you know, I didn't know if I wanted to laugh or to cry because it's definitely a jump the shark item. You know, come on.
Oh, this is so a
You know,
jump the shark item.
this is beyond jumping the shark. You know, this is in deep water. But there's just something so novelty and ridiculous about it that you just have to love it. You know,
Hmm.
it's
I
just
thought it was a goof too. When I first saw it, I said, "Oh God, is that real?"
oh,
And then,
same. I was like, that's a great Photoshop, and no way does this exist. And then I, I think like 30 minutes later, I saw a link to like Amazon for it. I'm like, okay, there it is. You know, have to have it, of course. So yeah,
yes, it is. It's in my collection too. Yep. If you're a Halloween and there it is again with the Halloween 2 on everything.
of course, Halloween too. But yeah, it's you know, it's something else, that's for sure. You know, like honestly, like the sculpt and everything looks pretty good. You
They
know,
did
it
a nice
doesn't.
job.
You
Yeah.
know, I've seen some horrible fucking likenesses of, you know, like the shape before, and you know the fact that they put a little work into, you know, getting this somewhat like, you know, remotely familiar. You know, they have the blood tears going down. I mean, hey, you know, they put in some effort, and you know, I give them an A for it. It's ridiculous, it's silly, but you know, had to have it.
Now I do have it. I don't think it's on my. No, I did make. It's not on my list, but as you know, I do have it. My number 9 is actually I had to make some room for it. So hold on one second. Ugh. I thought these came out great. I mean, for like a decoration sculpt and the size of the heads and the way they look, I thought these things were fantastic. I mean, granted, it's got the cheesy music. That's one of the things that really kind of kill it, I guess.
Yeah,
They didn't want to pay for the licensing of the music. So I guess, like, yeah, we'll just make up something. I mean, it's kind of creepy. I don't know where the hell they came up with it, but
yeah, no idea, no idea. Like they used the like last year there was a was it the forgot what it was, but I think it was a walking little Myers figure that I
the
picked up.
Waddler.
Yes, yes, and
Yeah.
it had the same, it has the same song to it. You know, when you
Yes.
when the guy's like waddling around, and you know, it's yeah, I don't know. You know, again, they're paying, you know, I'm sure a significant amount of money for like the likeness rights, but you know, how much more could like I mean, I guess they have to pay, you know, Carpenter and everything for like the theme song, so I'm sure that is probably a pretty penny, you know. So probably why what they went with the, you know, generic Halloween tune. But my number 9, uh, Crazy Minds Think Alike. I had this as my number 9 too. You
Oh,
know,
great. How great is that?
I was just so blown away by everything that Lowe's put out this year. You
Yes,
know,
Lowe's knocked it out of the park. I mean, granted, I'm not gonna lie, some of a lot of the stuff was a little bit on the pricey side, but
yeah,
really very cool.
absolutely, absolutely. And again, like I was so impressed with, again, you know, like the, you know, quality of the sculpt. Like it actually looks like Michael Myers. There's a good likeness to it.
Yeah.
You
Hmm.
know, again, you know, like, you know, guys, you know, we've seen some items over the years with, you know, they're calling like this Michael Myers, but it looks like absolutely nothing like it. So the fact that these are, high quality, the sculpt looks good on them. I was really, really impressed. And, again, like I said, they had they had the 8-pack as well that, like came out, of the lights. Those were great. They had the, they had the,
little orb thing, the projector.
yeah, they had like the spinning like a projector, and the one that like shot the image on like a flat surface. They're both such cool items, and really unexpected too. All of a sudden I kept seeing like, I think it was on Halloween Daily News actually when I first saw
it. Yeah,
like I saw them like like I think he was at like one of the store setups or something, and I saw these Halloween items there, and of course I see that, and I'm like, my heart starts to beat fast. I'm like, oh, what's this shit, And then the fact that like it wasn't just one item, but they had like 4 different items, brand new this year. Like, hey, man, I was down for it. Took a little bit of searching. We don't have that many Lowe's here in Chicago, and the one that is closest to us was actually under construction, so they weren't actually getting any of the Halloween stuff in. So my wonderful mother, my close to 80-year-old mother, went to Lowe's in Northwest Indiana for me, and picked up the majority of this stuff for me.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, she was like, people were looking at me funny, like I was walking through the store with these Michael Myers heads, and people were just kind of giving me weird looks, but I'm like, that's my mom, going out of her way to grab me some Halloween stuff. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Awesome. That's it. Hey, shout out to Lowe's. Let's see what they come up with next year.
Absolutely. I'm excited.
My number 8. Oh my God, where did I put it? Hold on a second. There it is. Yeah, it's only so much of the limited room on my desk here. Now, for years, Spencer's have been putting out backpacks. And for years, they've been kind of sucky. So this year, I was pleasantly surprised. Actually, I don't even have the other backpacks. There was a Resurrection one. There was an H6. The H6 one wasn't so bad, but I didn't bother with it. There was a Resurrection H6. They have that little Babysitters Club one that came out this year. Yeah. But this one, awesome.
Yeah, so cool. So cool.
It was great that they went to the original, the OG, and they used this artwork on it. And it's just, this was cool. I was pleasantly surprised by this. I'm like, because it's weird because you always see certain places have a lot of whatever licenses they could use, and Spencer's and Spirit usually just throw the Curse of Michael Myers on everything, or H2O.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so it was nice to see that they had the OG on here.
Absolutely. And it's so well designed too, they picked such a perfect image, has like a really like retro feel to it, with how they have, everything on the bag. It's just really, really cool. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I picked that up the second. In fact, I think I found out about it through you. I was like, holy shit, that's amazing. And so of course, we don't have Spencer's around here either. So, my sister-in-law, bless her, went on, a couple of journeys to various Spencer stores, and, finally stumbled upon it for me. So, again, teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Well, I picked up one for Dan.
Yeah.
Up in Canada, and shout out to the OG Shape on OG Shape 78 on Instagram. So I picked one up for him, and I sent it, and I hadn't heard from him, and apparently it went on like a worldwide trip. It didn't go from where I am in Pennsylvania straight up there. It was like a month later he got it. I go, you just got that now? And it was just like it went to like Indonesia or something retarded or something.
Wow.
And I'm like, how the hell did that happen? It was the weirdest thing. It took forever. I mean, fortunately it went there. Somebody realized that it was maybe got mixed in with something else, but it was hysterical. So if anything, the backpack took a nice worldwide trip before it made it up to Canada. So
seeing the world, man. And there've been quite a few bags this year, actually. Like besides the backpack, there was the one from, was it the Halloween Horror Nights?
The Horror Nights, yep.
Horror Nights. There was, like you said, there was like the mini babysitters. Was it the
Babysitters Club, or I think it's
Sitter's Guide or something like that.
Sitter's Guide, yeah.
Yeah, like the Halloween Safety. There was the Judith Myers one, which is a fantastic piece too.
Oh, that's right, the Judith Myers one. Yep, I do have that. Yep.
Yeah, that one almost made my list, but that was like one of like the runner ups. But yeah, there's a lot of really cool items,
That
You
was
know,
on my
like
short list too. Yeah, the tombstone was on my short list.
yeah, so cool. And again, like with like the pumpkin bag they did, it's just so well crafted. It looks great,
Hmm.
and yeah, a Trick or Treat Studios knocking it out. And it's a pretty good segue for my number 8, which was the pail, the pumpkin
Oh, okay.
pail
Pumpkin Pail.
from Trick or Treat Studios. This just, man, this brings me back to being a little kid and just taking these things door to door, going like trick or treating every year. It just like these, like these blow molded plastic. It just looks so good. I wish that the pumpkins that they put out looked this good. You know?
Right. Yeah, the small little pumpkin, the OG original one.
Yeah,
Not so great. Yeah, it's
yeah,
over there on my shelf over there. I mean, it's displayed, but it's not so hot.
yeah. The light up pumpkins just don't quite cut it. But like this really, really, I mean, it's so nice. Like it has a little bit of like weathering in there. Like some of like the dimples and everything on like the pumpkin, and it just looks like the OG pumpkin. Like it's such a cool little like nostalgic piece for me. I like the second I open up the box and I had this in my hand. I was sort of like it was like I was 8 years old again. It's like, holy shit, this is just absolutely perfect. So this is my number 8. I love it.
Very cool. And I admittedly have not picked that up yet. I have to get my hands on it.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, but I still haven't done my Christmas list yet because me and my wife never know what they get. I usually just say, just give me a couple, just write some things down.
Yeah.
And she says the same thing to me. And usually there's a few Halloween things on, and she just shakes her head. So yeah, that might be on the list. I completely forgot about that. All right, yeah. So my number 7 is something I could just show you one of it, but I'm just going to show the whole display because that's just the way I am.
Absolutely. Go big or go home.
The new NECA
Ah,
capsules, the second edition. Yes, I have the whole display. Sorry for the people that hate me for buying every one of them, but that's what us collectors do. So these I love. When they came out the first edition last year, I was like, wow, it's cool as hell.
yeah.
Because this takes me back to being a kid, going to the gumball machines, put a quarter in, getting like the Super Balls or whatever they had at the
Oh,
time.
for sure.
I mean, this was just a great idea, and I'm hoping to do a third edition next year. That'd be
I
really
hope so.
cool.
I hope so too. And those are absolutely great. I like enjoy those as well. I don't have like the entire like the entire display like you do. You have the entire a display for the first edition too, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. Yeah. I just bought two like two like packages. I usually buy two of everything usually. Like as long as it's somewhat affordable.
Affordable. Yep.
Again, like I like to have things on display and I like to have things, still in its, original packaging. So, mostly, if you see anything on display here in my room, I have another one that's still in
In
the
a
box
box.
too. So, but yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, no, those things are absolutely cool. So my number 7, um, actually it's right behind me. Right over here. It's this actually here. Let me actually bring this up here and give you a closer look to it. My number 7 is this. Well, can you see this or?
Yeah, the night he came home, the lorry on the door there. I forget what the print is actually called.
There we go. The print is actually just called Halloween. It's by Sam Gibley, who is a UK artist. This was part of the Printed in Blood, art book
The art book. Yep.
that came out this year, and this was one of the pieces that just struck me. It was so perfectly executed. I love the image of Lori. The shadow of the shape right here lurking behind her. It was just such a perfect piece. Of her, standing in front of the Doyle house. Knocking at the door. It really captures like the tension and the suspense of that scene so well. And like my art collection is really one of my favorite things. And this print just it just is wonderful. It's so well done. Like the colors are beautiful. And it just really knocked it out of the park for me.
And that's one thing that's great about your collection. See, that's where I missed the boat on. It was the prints years ago when they started coming out with the prints. I just didn't have the room for it. And at the time, see, everything you see here displayed, everybody's like, "Wow, that's great." I say, "Yeah, a lot of this stuff I had in boxes for years because this whole downstairs area was basically my kids' play area when they were younger. Like I said, over here, there's a TV and theater chairs, and their friends would sit down here and they'd watch movies and they'd have sleepovers and everything. So I didn't have all this stuff out.
Sure.
I had some stuff out, but nothing like this. And I also acquired more over the years since they were younger.
Yeah.
So, but when the prints came out, I'm like, well, I'm not gonna be able to display anything. Where am I gonna put it? So I didn't get them, and now they're so damn expensive. It's just like a boat I'm not getting on, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, yeah, again, like for sure, like fortunately, I started collecting the prints, probably around 2015, 2016, right when like the bulk of them started to really begin to hit. So thankfully I was able to get a lot of them at, relatively, close to what, the original price was before, like the aftermarket inflation and everything like that. But yeah, I mean, again, like it's like with everything else Halloween, man, like after, 2016, it's just print after print after print started coming out. And
Yep.
every artist, that I can think of, every contemporary artist that, I can think of off the top of my head have tackled Halloween, and it's just, I love the artwork, because I love, like I was an artist too. I, still am somewhat. Um, but I always just love seeing how other minds, other people, how they interpret the same thing as I do, like how do they see Halloween? What represents, this movie to them? And, like the artwork is just, you have some really, really stunning pieces in there that, even if it's not something that it's not a direct scene from like like the original. I like when artists throw their own spin onto things. Then they offer like presentations that aren't in the movie but are just like evocative. It's what it's what the movie sort of inspired them to do as far as like artwork goes. And yeah, there's just so many pieces out there. It's crazy. It's crazy. I have a couple different portfolios now, that are almost full. Um, again, I don't have the space for the artwork, but I can't
Right.
stop. I can't stop collecting it. It's literally my favorite stuff that comes out. So, again,
Exactly. Everybody's got their niche. Like yours is easily the prints, which are great.
yeah,
And me, like since day one, because back when I was, collector when I was younger, there were no collectibles. So I just got the movie posters, I got the promotional stuff, anything I could find because I thought it was the coolest stuff ever. So that's the stuff I'll always buy that stuff. The only prints, admittedly, I do buy when he puts a new one out is shout out to Jack's Attic.
oh, so good, so
Because
good.
they're
Love
so
everything.
affordable. They're like $20 shipped. The
Ex-
artwork is great, and I can fit them because they're 11 by 17.
yeah,
I usually just put them on the wall over there. So shout out to Jack. I mean, those are pretty much the only ones I'll buy religiously when he puts them out because they're very affordable and they're small enough that I can pretty much blend them in with everything else.
absolutely, absolutely. And again, I have a lot of artwork up on my walls, and it's again, it's just something that I just love. I just love seeing how different people interpret this. How they see Halloween, like what Halloween conjures up in their creative, imaginative minds. And man, like some of the pieces that have come out over the years have just blown me away.
Oh,
Just there've been such incredible pieces done. And I yeah, like I'm fortunate to have collected pretty much every piece that I've wanted over the years. And and I just wish I had more, like wall space or more, space in general, just to allow everything to, be, presented as, like it should be. Like it breaks my heart that I have, like 100+ prints sitting in a book under my bed. I mean, like like artwork that would, should grace walls and that should be displayed. But like my plan is to rotate this artwork out regularly, just so that everything has a chance to breathe, has a chance to be displayed, has a chance to
be
properly
enjoyed.
shine if it should.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And like I said, like it just breaks my heart, that I have so much artwork that's just again stuck in a portfolio under a bed. But but eventually, I plan to, eventually showcase it all somehow.
Well, one of these days, I tell when the kids move out, and I'll have a little bit more room. Like I said, my wife's already comes down and complains. She's like, "You started over here, you worked your way over here, now you're over here, you're over here. Where's next?" I said, "Well, when they leave, I'm just going to keep going until So you got to shout out to the Collectors Podcast. You got to be sure to watch it live on the 23rd. That's going to be our Christmas party,
Okay.
and we will have each of our wives sitting in. So it's going to be. I'll just be in the corner like this.
Right.
As she just complains, "Can you believe all this crap down here?" And all. And this is gonna I'm gonna show this on. This will be released on the 30th. So
Okay,
that
cool.
will have happened before. I'm gonna do this as the official year end, which should be Friday the 30th
Right.
of December. So as of this recording, we're doing this much earlier, and this way I can edit it, get everything all set up. So this is be shown on the 30th. So I will include up in the corner right above Brian's head a link to that podcast, as well as I actually premiering this coming Friday. The collectible spotlight is in fact what I just showed last, the second edition of the capsule collectibles. I figure
Nice.
so that'll be there, and I'll shoot a link up there too, because like I said, this video will be after all that's said and done. So my number 7 is, I'm sorry, my number 6 is going into uncharted territory.
Uh-oh.
Is this 3 collectibles too for the 40th anniversary?
Ah, yes. I have an idea.
I am a big fan of Halloween 3. I've said before, it's very polarizing. I know it shouldn't have Halloween attached to it, but it does. So it's nostalgic for me. It's ride or die with Meyer, as I get it. But
I love me some Halloween 3. It's my third favorite film in the franchise. Yes, the Mondo Tikis.
the Tiki mugs, they did it.
Wonderful.
I was going to take them out, but like I said, this was part of the stuff that was boxed up, and I had to take it out of the container. Oh my god, I want to take it out, but I'll probably throw some pictures or something up. Yeah, the Mondo Tiki mug set. This was, this was
nice.
ordered almost a year ago, but it was pretty much released this year. But they did the Tiki mugs are crazy. The prices they command, and this one, I'm sorry, is easily my favorite of all of them, because I think they just did a great job. The detail on them are great. They stack like a totem pole. It's
they're so cool, so cool. I have all of the other like the pumpkin tiki mugs, and when I saw Mondo put those out, it broke my heart, because again, I just can't start collecting Halloween 3 stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I love the movie. Again, like I mentioned, it's my third favorite in the franchise. Absolutely love it. But I just can't start, because once I start with something, I know myself. Once I start, then I have to go through everything in the past and pick that up. I can't just have a single item. I have to have it all.
That's a collector mentality. That's what my wife complains about. She's like, "You go overboard. Why do you got to have everything?" I said, "Because it's there.
Because it's there, and it's cool, and yeah, there's this part of me, this like gnawing part of the back of my head that once I start collecting things, like I have to be a completist. I have to get everything, and once I start collecting Halloween 3 stuff, that's it. Like I'm just gonna have to go back in time and grab everything in the past, and I don't have the space and I don't have the money for all that, so I had to sadly say no to those mugs. But those mugs are so fucking cool.
Yeah, very, very
huge
cool.
regret.
And honestly, I do have all promotional material, anything related to the movie, promotional stuff, I'll collect from every movie. But the bulk of my collection is 1, 2, and 3, and sprinkled in with some other things that I like that come along. They're like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." Like, like the Tots 2018 figure. I have that because I thought that was really cool. There's some stuff that I will, because same thing. You got to just at some point cut it off and say there's a line, because you just can't afford it or fit it. And I honestly kept the H3 stuff, because up until this year, there really wasn't much. But now they're pumping out so much. I'm like, whoa, stop.
For sure. Yeah, again, and like it's nice seeing the film, kind of get the recognition and have a sort of renaissance as far as like the public goes. It's been so like woefully just, ignored, hated, despised, over the years. Like you'd mentioned, Halloween 3 to any like horror fan. It's like the redheaded stepchild of, like the Halloween franchise. Nobody liked it, but it's to me it was always just so creative, and fun and weird and like bizarre, and it kind of gave me an idea of what Carpenter really wanted to do with this series, and but yeah, again, such a weird and wonderful film, and again, I'm so glad that it's finally getting the recognition that it really deserves
And I
after all
believe,
this time.
is that the only H3? Just to spoil it, I think no. There's more H3 on here too.
Very
What do you
nice.
got? So what's your number 6?
All right, number 6. We are treading some familiar ground here, and I am bringing out the Michael Hedge bobblehead
There you go.
from Royal Bobbles. Yeah, again, we already, gushed over how awesome this thing was, and yeah, it's just this thing's rad. It's just such an iconic scene, and like they nailed it. Like they did such a good job with these figures. I'm so impressed with them. Again, like I love these things so much that again I bought multiple copies of all of them because I just wanted to display them because they're so displayable and they look so good, and it's just I just love the work and all of the detail that they put into these things. It's just so awesome, so awesome.
Very, very cool. So let's see my list. My number 6. Well, actually, no, my number 6 was the Tiki Mugs. Number 5. Okay, let me get this. Because, like I said, everything is very much stacked here.
Yep, I have my items all here.
This is like my little command center. There's only so much room. So I'm just going to show both versions of this. I know there's a third version that's a signed copy, but the printed in blood art book.
Beautiful.
If anybody out there hasn't ordered these, you don't know what you're missing. These things are fantastic. This is the limited edition one with the slipcase, which is the one I actually have open because I didn't need to open both of them up.
Yeah.
So that one I have easily read. This is which admittedly is a better cover, I think. I like this better.
I do too. Yeah.
The other one's very plain. It's cool, but a little plain. I like this much better. The only thing that really pisses me off is I originally got the first one, and then I said, "Wow, I really like the cover on the regular version." Yeah. So I quickly ordered it before they sold out, and then like 2 weeks later, they came out with the Carpenter signed one.
Yeah.
And I'm like, look, I'd love to get it, but I'm like, I'm not buying a third.
I did the same exact thing. Thankfully, though, I don't know if you saw this or I don't know if you were able to grab a copy. I think you mentioned that you did, though, but they put out the Storm King version a couple of weeks ago.
Is that what that was? I saw that. I missed it. Yeah. Are they all gone?
They were. I think they were limited to 100.
Yeah. So they're gone. Oh, yeah.
And they had a completely different cover as well, which was very different from like those two. Thankfully, I was able to snag one. But yeah, again, like the art book is just tremendous. It's very high up on my like list as well. I've spent countless hours going through that book and just looking and just analyzing and just loving everything in there. It's like almost like 300 original pieces of artwork, and it's just. Again, like as we talked about the artwork, man, I just love seeing what people who are far more creative than I am,
right, me too.
can like conjure in their brains and and put on paper. It's just blows my mind, and going through that book, blew my mind too, with just how much creativity and love and passion there was for like the series. It was just awesome. One of my favorite things too, easily.
Very cool. Great book. If anybody doesn't have it, you're missing out. Go get it. Especially if you're a fan. If you're a fan of Halloween, you don't know what you're missing.
Must buy for sure. Okay, so my number 5 this year is the Halloween 2 Michael and Loomis set from NECA.
Admittedly, I must have forgot about that. That should have made my list. Admittedly, you know what it is? I did go through my Instagram page. Either I missed it, and I even took a double take of everything. But like I said, I have bins of stuff packed away. But that is a great set. It is.
Awesome, awesome. And yeah, it's such a better Loomis than was in the Loomis and Laurie set that came out in 2021.
Right.
Like the Loomis is just so much better, like articulated. The face looks better. The clothes looks better. It's just a far better, sculpt than came out with the Laurie set last year. And it has Michael on fire if you want to like put all like the accessories on him. Like it's such a cool set. It really is. And with like the great artwork here, by I think this is the guy who does Fright Rags. I forgot his name offhand.
I can't remember his name offhand. Yeah.
But yeah, but again, like the artwork he does is tremendous, and the figures are awesome. It has like I mentioned, like the fire you could add on Michael. If you're doing your dioramas and things like that. It's just such a cool pack. And again, like you love seeing Loomis. Again, like you see so much of Michael that it's nice seeing these like these companies begin to bring out other characters from the franchise as well, like besides just like the shape.
Very cool set. Yeah, I'm surprised that missed my list. That probably would have made my top 10. That one slipped by me. I might have been on when I went down the page. I might have missed that, but
yeah. Well, like a lot of stuff was announced, like like it was announced in 2021, and it didn't get a physical release until 2022, and that was
this year.
Yeah, that was.
I negated that. Yeah, I just said, it showed up this year. That's I'm considering.
Exactly. Same here.
Printed in Blood was ordered was almost a year and a half by the time we got it.
Geez, I think I had pre-ordered that in like November of 2020, if I'm not mistaken.
Easily well over a year. Because I remember at some point thinking, like, did I lose my money? Or are they just not going to make this book? And it was worth the wait.
Oh, for sure. Like it's funny back to that, but I was, we have a horror convention in Chicago. It's called Flashback Weekend, and I was talking to one of the artists who, had a piece in the Printed in Blood book, and he said that the process to get a piece in the book was so long and drawn out. Like they had submitted pieces like years and years and years ago, and it was just such a slow process for like the artwork to be looked at, accepted, and for the artist to finally, know when the book was going to be out and have the prints put out and everything. So it was a long drawn out, ordeal for this whole art book, according to the artist. Again, we had, like the pandemic and everything too, which kind of like played into it. But again, it's but yeah, I was very happy once that came out for sure.
Worth it, people. Go get it.
Yes.
My number 4. Going back to the divisive Halloween 3 movie, because like I said, this is the 40th anniversary of H3, so it was an onslaught of H3 stuff. The Living Dead doll set.
Very cool.
They just knocked it out of the park with these, because I never cared much of the Living Dead dolls. I when I still had all my Rob Zombie stuff, I had the Zombie 2 Living Dead doll. I sold all the Rob Zombie stuff, which I've mentioned many times. And the one they did for Halloween, I didn't think it's not that great.
Yeah, no.
The detail on these 3, and what I love that they put it all in one package. They didn't bang us for 3 separate ones,
which they very easily could have.
Very easily could have, and I would have bought all 3. But when it came in one pack, and in the packaging is real nice. They got some real cool artwork on it, and a lot bigger than I thought they were going to be when it said a 3-pack. I'm like, oh, okay, I think it's like the size of the Toonie Terrors or something like that. But I was pleasantly surprised at this. So that is my number 4.
Very cool. Well, my number 4, we're kind of treading over familiar ground again, but we're going to go to the Printed in Blood Halloween art book.
There it is again.
Yes. Look, wrong way. Yeah, this beautiful edition. I don't have enough positive words to gush over this book about. Again, as you're like a Halloween fan, it's just, especially like the pumpkin on the back of the slipcase, so cool. But yeah, again, like this is a must-have for any Halloween horror fan, even, because it's just, man, like it really, any sort of artistic interpretation that you could think of. It's been done. Like it's just incredible. Like the amount of great artwork is in here. It just blows my mind. Again, it's again even 7 months after I got it, I still flip through it regularly just to enjoy the artwork.
Oh yeah,
It's just so great, so great.
If there's nothing going on, there's plenty of times I'll sit down here and I'll just thumb through it and hang out, and it's just people go get it.
Yeah, absolutely.
My number 3, and this just came in, I think about 2 weeks ago. The Halloween 2 Tots figure.
Nice.
Halloween 2, my second favorite in the franchise.
Mine too.
I'm so happy they did such a real nice job. It's got all the great accessories. It's just, Tots is nice out of the park. So when you were mentioning your the Loomis and Myers figure set before, I'm like, Tots, it's time for a Loomis 1/6 scale figure. Let's do it.
They are actually. I think
they're finally doing it.
So they announced the Loomis Halloween 1 Loomis. I think 2023 release. I thought they were going to do a pre-order this year for it, but it looks like it's just being pushed back to next year. But it is on the horizon. So
finally, I'm gonna be getting that. So my biggest thing is because I know I don't have the other ones. I don't have the 4, 5, and the 6 is out now, or I think it was on pre-order when H2 was. Because I simply, like I said, you got to draw the line somewhere with all the figures and the different movies and stuff. But we want a Loomis, and I'm assuming, unless it's been announced and I wasn't aware of it, I'm assuming at some point they'll give us a 1/6 Laurie figure, I would assume.
Oh, I'm sure they will. I'm sure. Again, like it's, and what I really love about, like the Trick or Treat Studio figures is that, 1/6 figures, custom 1/6 figures can run, thousands of dollars, like it's just, I've seen like 1/6 Meyer figures, go for ridiculous amounts of money. And they're, Tots has been putting out really high quality sculpts, really great figures for a very affordable price point. I mean, sure, they're, like a couple $100 now, I think, which, it's, pretty expensive for, like a doll, but, like
this was the most expensive so far, I think. This was 200. This was the highest priced one so far. And of course, they're going to jack it up to inflation or whatever. I get it, but yeah.
For sure. But again, if like you look at the market for, like 1/6 figures custom, like the price for them is just through the roof. It's just unaffordable for most people to have a custom 1/6 figure. So you like the fact that they're putting out all these figures at relatively affordable price point, without sacrificing the quality. 'Cause again, like the sculpts are great. They offer a lot of accessories with them. I just think they're you get a lot of bang for your buck, and they're just awesome quality. I'm so glad that they decided to do this. For sure.
Yep. Keep it up, Tots.
Absolutely. My number 3, yes. All right. So my number 3, I had to go and retrieve it from my portfolio. But here, let me give you a back up a bit.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So this is the Juan Ramos Halloween print. It was put out by GMA. It was announced in I think it was around October of 2021, and it was promised that we would have it within like 8 weeks, and it showed up close to a year later. So I'm going to consider this a 2022 release. This is the variant, which was limited to 150 copies. The regular edition was a timed edition, and so I think there ended up being like 500 or something of those. So this is much more limited. It's such a phenomenal piece of work. I from the moment I saw it, I was drooling over it. Are you able to see it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. Again, like I just love everything about this one. Like the color.
The color's great.
The colors are wonderful on it. It's just so evocative, and it just gives such a wonderful Halloween feel to me. With Michael just watching the kids in the background, and there's a couple Easter eggs in here with the little kids trick or treating. One of them is dressed as Ghost Bob. The other one is dressed as young Michael in the clown outfit.
Yeah.
Again, such a beautiful piece of work. I'm This is one that I am struggling to really want to get up on the walls, but it means having to do a lot of rearranging, but it would be absolutely worth it to have this up. So this is my number 3 of 2022, Juan Ramos Halloween. It really doesn't get much better than this, I don't think.
Cool. Very cool.
Such a great piece of art.
Cool. All right. My number 2. We're going back to the OG movie and same thing. These were ordered I guess last year and came out this year. The Fright Rags figures.
Oh, yeah.
Now these I love because these are like old style figures from my youth. Like these, I used to have like all the different one GI Joe, but I forget what they were. I used to get like all the action packs, and I'd tie them on ropes and make like hang them out the window of my bedroom and make it seem like they were, I had like helicopters and all sorts of like action figures, and these things just take me right back. So I'm looking forward to they're doing what? They're doing a couple more, aren't they?
Yeah, so I think
like there was Annie and Bob and everything. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so there was some kind of toy convention a couple weeks ago, and
right.
Plastic Meatball, like the manufacturer, they had like their like setup, and their part of their 2023 release was phase 2 of these figures, and it's Bracket, it's Annie, and Bracket, Annie, and
is it Bob?
I think it's Loomis.
Loomis, yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah. So that is phase 2, which will hopefully be out next year, and hopefully won't take a year, almost a year. Yeah, for sure. I remember pre-ordering these in I think April of 2021, and I think like Fright Rags was like, you should have them around like September, and it kept getting update after update, and it kept getting pushed back, but yeah, it was definitely worth the wait for these, and these are my number 2 as well.
There you go.
Yeah, I just love these things. I love the artwork.
Yes, the artwork, the packaging,
artwork.
Great. You can't beat it. They did a great job.
It's so good. The artwork is so good, and like the back of the packaging as well, with like the fake little like send away for like the comic book, and it just again, like it just brings me back to when I was a kid, and like a collecting like the Thundercat action figures and GI Joe and all those. It just like the blister packs, it just harkens me back to those days, and it's just a complete nostalgia trip for me, for sure.
And we did not compare notes on this, and we've hit on a few with the same spots, so it's pretty interesting.
For sure.
So now we're down to number 1.
Drum roll, right?
And now let's see. I'm having a funny feeling we might land on the same one.
I think so.
I haven't seen it so far, and is it? There it is.
There we go.
Yep.
Absolutely. Such a great piece.
And we were gushing about it earlier. And my only regret is I told people were paying the amount of money for this. And at the time I ordered this, I could kick myself for not ordering a second one.
Yeah.
I should have ordered a second one just to keep it out on my desk. So I should have done that. I don't know why I didn't, but I know they're starting to pop up in Hot Topic stores.
They are. Yep.
So I'm going to be able to, I tell everybody, I say, guys, I know I don't like to wait either. I'm like, wait, don't pay some jackass $200. They'll be there. Hot Topic did the same. They do the same thing with every bobblehead they put out. So if you wait long enough, they flood the stores with them and you'll be able to get them. So
absolutely
relax.
Absolutely. But yeah, that was the hot ticket item like this entire fall, it seemed, man. It's just like everybody was just gushing about, like the bobblehead and or bemoaning the fact that they weren't able to get their hands on one, and
right.
Again, like you, I would go on eBay or the various aftermarket sites, and man, I'd see these things going for such absurd amounts of money. And like you said, just a little bit of patience, again, like I was fortunate enough that, I saw these go online right away. And so I was able to snag 2 like right away. And then like it almost immediately, was like sold out, and it was sold out for, however many months, still. But again, like it's just a matter of patience. I know if I miss out on something, it it bothers me to the point where, yeah, I want to go on eBay and I want that, immediate gratification of having it in my collection. But again, just a little bit of patience, and
Yep.
it's.
I tell people I've been collecting a long, long time, and I'm not saying I'm the most patient person in the world, but I've learned over time to be patient, because
Yeah.
there's times where I just jump the gun, and then when I know I could have waited, and I'm like, wow, I really overpaid for that. I really should have just waited.
Oh God, I've done that so many times
Yep.
too. And again, you just, you learn from experience, you learn from your mistakes. And man, again, I'm trying to tell, like some of my friends who, like missed out on it. Hey, don't go on eBay.
That's what I told
Wait until
everybody.
November. Wait
Yep.
until closer to Christmas. The Halloween buzz will die down. And again, these never said that they were limited. That it was.
Never. Yep. I said Hot Topic. If Hot Topic says it's limited, a limited edition, like well, not necessarily. It's their own edition. It's limited to their store.
Right.
But if it says it's like a limited edition, there's number or whatever. I said, yeah. I said, but and the Hot Topic is smart. If it makes money, why are they going to stop? They'll just keep
Exactly.
putting it out. Because remember, people went gaga when they came out with the clown bobblehead, the little Myers clown, and people going crazy for that too. I'm like, guys, still have it. And that one, I missed the boat, because when I went to order it, I was at work or something one day, and boom, that just went.
Gotcha.
And I just waited it out, and then
Yep.
and then eventually they had it in the store, and I paid retail price. What I tell people when I did my bobbleheads collectible spotlight, which I'll throw a link in right above Brian's head after the fact. I say the same thing. I told everybody, I said, everybody relax. I said, all you do is feed into these idiots that go and suck everything up and double the price. I mean, with the Halloween craze we've had the past few years, you saw it. People weren't even waiting until they had the product in hand before they doubled the price. They were selling their
Oh,
pre-orders.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm like,
absurd.
seriously?
But again, like it's in the past, I would have been one of those people to have jumped on that, because again, as as like a collector, the thought of not having something, especially such a cool item, it would have eaten at me, But again, just have patience, just wait a little bit,
Wait it out a little
wait
bit.
it out.
My mistake is when I did put the order in, I was busy. I just hit one instead of two, because I do have a second Hedge one that I have open that I have displayed, and then I'm like, I should just got a second one, but they're starting to pop up again. So I'm gonna probably, once I start doing my Christmas shopping, I go to a couple different malls. I'm gonna go grab another one just to keep it out there, because I'm like, I can't believe I didn't get two to display one, because when we did our ranking video of our favorite kills, that's my favorite one, hands down, to this day.
Mine
On
too.
the wall. So I'm
Mine
like,
too.
why didn't I get two, idiot? But I'm patient. I wasn't going to pay anybody because I know they were coming back. So I will
Absolutely.
get one.
And I was so shocked when I saw that come out. Like I was like, I didn't think it was real at first. I was like, oh, that's not a real piece. And then sure enough, I went on the Hot Topics. I'm like, holy shit, this actually exists. Like I was
I was the same way.
Like I was shocked. I mean, it's so well done too. Like we were discussing about the other bobbleheads. Like the likeness of Bob is great. The likeness of Michael is great. Like the background, like the diorama background of it. Like it's just so well done. And I'm just so impressed with Royal Bobbles and their like output this year. They just keep getting better and better. And I'm excited for 2023. See what they have to offer us Halloween fans.
Absolutely. So did you put aside anything that you picked up this year that was either not necessarily released this year that you added to your collection, or maybe it was a custom item or anything?
Yeah, I have a lot. I picked up a lot of custom items, so I'm happy to share any of those with you. Okay.
All right, cool. So let's see some stuff that, like, I know you collect a lot of the custom stuff, and this is just 5 things I picked up this year that I thought were kind of cool. So my number 5 is actually a twofer, because I got them. I'm considering a twofer because I got them at the same time. Everybody knows my love for the promotional stuff. When I picked up the advertising slicks, these are cut and paste that they used to go into magazines and newspapers to display the. So I have my H3, and I picked up Halloween 2. So people, that's like the cover of it. If you flick through the other pages, people will understand more. Like, if you looked at a magazine at the time, you'd see that,
Right, right.
or newspapers. More so, let's see if I can find one you'd see more so in like a newspaper advertisement. Where's the smaller ones? Like these, like early cut and paste, the advertising. So that's for the Halloween 2. And same with the H3 ones, where you'd see like stuff like this, cut and pasted in magazines and newspapers. If I can get it in there.
For sure. That's
so this
cool.
stuff, I just eat this stuff up. I love all the advertising stuff.
I love I love all the, like the promotional items in your, like in your display. I know that's your niche, and it's so fascinating to me seeing all that stuff, like the press kits and like the reels and everything. I know you just did, like your
the trailers,
spotlight with like the trailers, and it's that stuff is just so cool to me. It's just like little like pieces of history.
That's what it is to me. It's like parts of history, because it's like, this was shown in the theater. Displaying the movie, especially the H1 and H2 ones. The H3 one, I got most of them I did get off a private collector, not all of them. And the H3 one, like I said in the video, was still in plastic. It was never even used.
Wow, man, that's great.
So that was a score.
Absolutely, absolutely, so cool. Well, my number 5 is an oldie but a goodie. I was finally able to track down.
Nice.
1979, Japanese release of the Halloween soundtrack, the first worldwide soundtrack release, if I'm not mistaken, in almost mint condition this year. I had another copy before that was just ragged, and I was able to find one with like the Obi strip, which are becoming increasingly rare these days, and just a phenomenal piece. It's just
very, very cool. Yes, it's
beautiful. I love. Like I love the different sort of like the variation of like the artwork on the front too.
Coloring,
different color scheme and everything. It's just so cool. And again, this is just one of those things that like it's just like holding like a piece of history in your hand. This is such an iconic soundtrack that to have the first worldwide like pressing of it is just pretty cool.
Absolutely cool.
But yeah, that was one of my favorite pickups from this year.
Another one of my favorite pickups, harkening back to Halloween 2. This is, as you can tell, it's probably going to be all advertising related, most of it. A Halloween 2 exhibitor's campaign booklet from the UK. Now, sort of like the advertising slicks that I just showed everybody.
Yeah.
Let me open this up and I'll take it out. Un momento. Come on. Don't give me a hard time. I got it in here so good I can't get it out. So basically, these were sent out to advertisers in the UK for the sole purpose of same thing. In there, you'll see a lot of the advertising slicks, like you saw, like the things you'd see in the newspapers.
Sure.
And on the back, there's a plate. The company that was doing the advertisement for EMI. Well, actually, over there was EMI that was doing the distributing. So you'd see it on here, EMI Thorn. There's a place you can order, the lobby cards, press kits, more of these to do all the advertising. And this is odd because I've seen these before and they usually all cut up because it's like an early form of cut and paste. And this still has this still has the fold out intact.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which is not usually there.
Yeah, that's so cool.
So this was a good find. I was very happy to get this and with all the other advertising stuff I have. For sure.
It's such cool stuff, man. I love that advertising and stuff. It's like I said, just like a peek back in history, But my number 4 was a custom Halloween 2 mask that I picked up this year. This is a Don Post 99 Shatner that was rehauled by Michael Fadian, who goes by MDF Effects on Instagram. His H2 work is just phenomenal.
That one came out. That's real nice. That's like spot on.
It really is. He's, again, I've been enamored with his work for many, many years. And I've been holding off on, getting an H2 mask because I specifically wanted this, wanted this particular artist, Michael Fadian to do it for me. But again, his wait list is, substantial, very long, but it took about a year or so between the, time I put in my order and to when it finally arrived on my doorstep. I couldn't be happier. It captures that grungy nastiness that just screams Halloween 2 to me. It's just dark and grungy, and it just looks pretty fucking evil.
It does.
And, he did such a phenomenal job with this mask. I couldn't be happier with it.
That's nice. Very, very cool. And you might start to see a theme of this. So this actually, I have it out of order. 1 second. Harkening back to my, like I said, my love of anything press related. And admittedly, this number 3, 2, and 1, I did get all from the same person.
Nice.
Over time, not all at once. So this.
And I was going to say, I don't see a lot of that press stuff really, really pop online very often, and when I do,
but this was done by a collector. This is an original. Now, mind you, Halloween didn't come out in Germany until 1979, right after the first of the year.
Sure.
So I can't really say 78. So this is an original 1979 German Halloween press kit.
Wow. So cool.
So like a lot of the European countries always have some cool stuff in there. So you have several of these that you can put up in your theater.
Nice.
There's those. There's actually 2 of those included in here. Then there's the same thing. They have like the advertising slicks like you'd see. I was showing you before that was included in here. And there's all different information on the movies. It's hard to see. All the different typing tells you about the movie, all like a whole synopsis, who's in it, how it's released. And it's just, like I said, it's like a time capsule of stuff.
Do you know around approximately how many of those were
and some more, and here's another
put to print
of what these?
Yeah, like the press kits. Generally, about do you know how many they usually make, or how many are distributed usually?
Not really, because I think a lot of it was they were sent out to, because you got to remember back in the day, a lot of things were released on a region by region basis, and a lot of the people, whoever the distributors were, they were sent to like the distributors, the advertising agencies, and the theaters themselves. So I guess it all really depends on, how many places they had to send it to. I don't think they really kept like a count.
Sure.
So I don't know how many of these you can find. You could probably find them more in the UK, but this I was pleasantly surprised when the collector was like reached out to me and said, "Pat, tell them." I'm like, "Okay, I'm in."
Yeah, man, I wouldn't be able to turn that down myself. That's such a phenomenal piece. Awesome. All right, so my number 3, you're gonna sense a theme here as well. So I was able to pick up this Halloween 1 mask done by the awesome James Carter. This is a NAG 98 Proto. Finished up by James Carter. I kind of wanted a hallway scene, sort of like look to it, and he just knocked it out of the park.
That is really nice.
I was on his wait list for about 4 years actually. So his wait list to have a mask finished runs about 4 years. His work is just so sought after, and again, like I have several other H1 masks, by some really great artists, but none capture that essence of H1 like a James Carter. Like, I don't know what he does, what kind of mojo magic that he puts into his work, but like every piece I see of his is just head and shoulders above like any artist out there by far. And again, I put in my request for this mask back in 2018, right around the time Halloween 40 came out. I wasn't too well versed as far as like the mask scene back then, and it took me a while to really to learn about all the artists, the different sculpts, the different, like producers out there. And, once I kind of figured out like, okay, this is the best sculpt, the best artist, I kind of put two and two together and threw my request into James Carter. And, I was expecting to have to wait another year or so, but, yeah, thankfully he got in touch with me, earlier this fall, and he's like, "Hey, Brian, your spot's up." And man, I couldn't contain my excitement. I was expecting to have to wait another year, if not more. And so yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. And again, I couldn't be happier with that mask. It just, to me, it screams H1. After
Oh, it does. It's beautiful.
after getting that, I'm kind of done with like my masks at this point. Like I feel like my mask collection is pretty much complete. It's where I want it to be. You can't top my H1. You can't top the H2. So
That's good. Yeah, but I admittedly don't. I'm very not knowledgeable in the custom mask realm.
it's a lot.
I know a lot of the names, and I've seen a lot of them. I don't admittedly have any of them because, like I said, I didn't want to go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
At some point, I'm going to go down that rabbit hole where I'm probably just like you, probably going to want to get like one good sculpt of certain H1 and H2s, and that's basically it.
Yeah. Again, like days. There's so many different masks out there and so many different artists, and specific masks capture one specific scene in the movie, like
right.
And it's just like you said, it's once you go down that rabbit hole, like there's no getting out of it. And again, I have six independent masks right now, again, and I couldn't be happier with it. Hold on one second, my cat's trying to get in here. Get out of here. All right. Got his little arm trying to reach through. But again, like the masks, ever since I was a kid, I wanted something that was just Michael Myers, and I had, like the Don Post mask back in the day, the mask, and all of like the various, stuff from, from like the Paper Magic group, and like a Don Post and Tots, they're yeah, again, they were fine like for their day, but again, it's I mean, like what they are, they're okay, but none of them were Michael Myers to me, and
right.
It wasn't until I really started like researching like the independent masks and everything that I was really kind of able to find something that really, really spoke to me. So that fact that I have something that I wanted since I was a little kid, it just I swear I still look at these goddamn things for like 10 minutes every day and just like stare at them in awe, just I'm like, holy shit, like I have the masks that I wanted since I was a little kid, it just summons up this childhood glee whenever I see them,
Oh, believe me, every day I walk through here on my way to work, or if I'm here at work, and it's just like I've said before many times, I think even on the podcast, it's just like if you would have told like 10-year-old me that I'd have all this stuff, I'd be doing this at 50, I would have been like, yeah, right.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. So my number 2 is in plastic again, too. Let me open it up. I'll put all this stuff back in this plastic after the fact. And this narrowly beat out part 3 simply for the cover artwork, because this is a UK 1979 original UK Halloween press kit, and the cover art on the press kit is none other than Ghost Bob.
Oh wow, I don't think I've ever seen that before.
So that's why it narrowly beat out the German one, because I'm like, how could you beat that vision?
That's awesome.
This is on the press kit, and it's got all great information on the inside here of Halloween.
I love the UK artwork for like H1, like it's so cool.
Mm-hmm. And it's got all the synopsis, all the information. Yeah, for some reason the artwork was always this vision of Michael, and with a different font.
Yeah,
but because I have the other press kit, which is not part of this, that I got. It's the 1980 press kit where they re-released Halloween in a double feature in the UK with Assault on Precinct 13, and they have all that same font for Halloween.
Yeah. I have the one sheet for the landscape one sheet, with Annie in the car, and like the hand against the
Right,
window.
hand, the original ones. Yep.
Yeah, I am. Like I have that, and it's one of my prized pieces. I would love to get it framed up and everything sometime soon. But yeah, like the UK artwork, like the quads and everything are just so cool, so cool.
And this comes with, you always have those lobby cards, or you have the photo stills, and these are some of my favorite photo stills because they're really, I just the way they're done, and they're just classic scenes from the movie. So you have Ghost Bob. Lovely scene of Linda getting choked to death. That just doesn't sound right, but it's the truth.
Very good.
Annie. And this is basically a publicity still because this was not from the movie. Very famous photo of her screaming like her mother in Psycho. And another famous scene that's on tons of stuff these days.
Very nice. The staircase.
So I thought that was cool. So this is easily probably my favorite of the press kits now, because I just love how they have the artwork on the cover, and it's just if you guys can find this, it's very cool.
Did you get that from like a private collector, or was that a?
No, that was a private collector. Yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine. I again, you don't see those things, get like disseminated into the aftermarket very often. Like especially not in that kind of condition either. Like that was obviously well taken care of.
Well taken care of. Yep. That's the thing. Because sometimes you can find some of this stuff. Over the years, I've seen a few of the press kits, not necessarily those, because I would have bought them in any condition just to have them if I got my hands on them.
Sure.
But I've seen a few of them that are just beat up, and I have press kits for every movie. I have, for every single movie up to Resurrection, I believe is the last one. Yeah, because beyond that, they stopped doing it.
Right, like most like press kits, aren't they like electronic these days?
They're electronic now, or there's so much social media now. They don't need to put any print stuff out, which kind of stinks because I love physical media stuff. It kind of blows.
Oh,
but
for sure.
The H2O one is it's a big cartridge. It's like one of those. It's bigger than a VHS. I'll have to bring it out and show it one of these days. I think I'm going to do all the press kits on the collectible spotlights. I just haven't gotten around to that yet. But
yeah, that would be a great one for sure. That'd be super interesting to check out all of them. Because I don't have any of like the press kits, so all of the press stuff is brand new to me. And it's just it's something that I'm gonna start focusing on. As far as after like 2023, I'm going to be taking a little bit of a collection break just because of H45 going on later on in the year, which is going to be such an expensive weekend for sure. Like I'm already wincing at that, but again, like after like 2023, I'm going to start to focus on tracking down some of those press kits and things like that, because I'd really love to add those to my collection.
And I will keep an eye out for you too. If anything ever comes up, I'll definitely let you know.
Please do. That would be super rad, because again, I just love those little like snapshots in time, and just again, like they're of the era, so they just have that classic feel to them. I would just love to have them as part of my collection too.
And I'm already $1,000 or $1,100 into H45 already, because I already booked my hotel. I think I mentioned that to you already.
I did too. Well, we have friends who live about like 35-40 minutes from like Pasadena, but I booked the hotel room just in case. Pretty pricey again, and it's not even including airfare and tickets. And then once you actually get there, that's when the most expensive part of it is just again, I've heard a lot of cool things about who might be potentially there. I heard that Jamie Lee Curtis might be a lock for one of the days or so, and I can't imagine her going for anything less than like $200 or $300 for like an autograph or something like that. So this year's all going to be about sort of saving up for that wonderful weekend. I have never been to like a Halloween convention yet. So
me neither. Every time they had one, my kids were a lot younger, and I'm like, I couldn't just skip off to California. And so now that the kids are older at age 45, as soon as they announced it or even breathed a word of it, I told the wife, I said, I'm going. So I don't
Absolutely.
care. I said, I'm not missing this. I said, look, we lost Cliff Emick the other day. I said, these actors
I
are not going to be
know.
around too much longer. I said, so that's one less person's autograph I'm already going to get that I'm not going to get because really only collect them from 1, 2, and 3. I
Yeah.
said, so I lost that opportunity. I said, so I can't sit there and say, well, I'll wait till age 50. No.
Exactly.
So yeah, we definitely and Jim Winburn just died too. So that's 1 from 1 and 1 from 2 within a
Yeah.
month gone. So yeah. So and she was quoted. Yeah, she's never been to California, so she'll be strolling about doing her own thing while I'll be at the convention. She has no interest in doing it, so she's still just gonna go off and do her own thing.
Very
So
cool. Very cool. Yeah. I think Dan is might be like joining me actually. Um,
there's gonna be a
so
lot of people there. Like I know
yeah.
a lot of people that come on the podcast said they're coming.
Oh, I'm
Um,
sure.
Brett and Michael already are they're going. So and other people that I'm in touch with in the community in different places. It's really like a giant meeting of the minds.
Oh, oh yeah, totally. Again, like I am, I'm so excited, not just to, again, see everything that's at the convention, but to have the chance to meet all you wonderful fine folks as well in the flesh, and see y'all and say hello and hang out in a setting which is super appropriate for like a bunch of Halloween freaks. So
Yep, that's exactly what it is. The Halloween freaks
absolutely glad to be one.
present.
All right, so we're going to do my number 2. So I'm going to bring this over here. I wanted to do this on my phone today because I knew I was going to be moving around a little bit. But my number 2 is, can you see this okay? It's the diorama of the hallway scene from Halloween 1. This was, I picked this up early last year. The hallway scene has always been my absolute favorite scene in Halloween. And, I loved, just the way that the artist just, was able to just perfectly capture it, and it's a Trick or Treat Studios figure that was rehauled and, given a different body. The mask and everything were updated as well. But yeah, again, like the hallway scene was just my favorite in the entire movie. Just that 3 seconds of like Michael standing there, like at the top of the staircase. It's just
It was just creepy as hell. Yes.
my favorite moment in film history, perhaps, is just him standing there and just, you get the real like first opportunity to see him at, like the first, just a chance to really first see the mask and see him standing there. It's just an awesome scene. And I was really happy with the way that the artist was able to capture this.
That's awesome. That is beautiful. So, and then those that know me and those that follow, my channel, this channel, or follow me on the Halloween Collectors podcast, know I recently acquired something that I've been chasing for a very, very, very long time.
The Holy Grail.
The Holy Grail, because and I've said this countless times, I had this when I was a child. Don't know what the hell happened to it because it disappeared in the sands of time with a lot of my other things from my childhood that it either probably ended up in garage sales or in the garbage or who the hell knows. They just seemed, a lot of things from my youth have evaporated.
Oh yeah.
But I acquired the 2600 cartridge in the box.
Beautiful.
And this thing is probably one of the better ones I've ever seen, like minty mint.
Yeah, that looks about as good as I've ever seen one. For sure. It looks pristine.
So this was a long time coming. Happy to add this to the collection. I still have not found a place for it. It either is on my desk staring at me every day in here or back on the shelf because I'm like, I don't know how to display this or where to put it. Like you have those cool display shelf cabinets. One of these days, I keep sending to get it. I have to figure out a way to get someplace to put all my CDs and free up this entire wall.
Yeah.
But it'll eventually go in something real cool like that. But until then, it's usually staring at me saying, Pat, I'm down here.
Right? Man, that's such an awesome piece. And yeah, that's a well-deserved number 1 on your list. That's again, it doesn't really get much better than that for like a Halloween collector. That's like the pinnacle. So I am very happy for you, and congratulations again on that. That's just about as awesome as it gets.
Thank you. Do you have at least the cartridge loose or anything at all, or no?
I have the booklet. I
The
have the
booklet.
booklet for it, and so I'm slowly gonna try to get all three pieces.
Smart, because I had the booklet for years. I found it in like on eBay. Somebody had sold a bunch of Atari booklets in like a group, like a package deal. It was like 10 or 12 of them, and I want to say it was like $20 or $25.
Wow. Okay.
And they showed, and ooh, okay. So, and everybody's like, well, why'd you buy just the booklet? I said, because I just figure if I ever found the cartridge in the box and it didn't have the booklet, bam, now I got a full set. So
Awesome.
hang on to it just in case, because
Oh
sometimes
yeah.
people might have the cartridge in the box and they just don't have the booklet. At least you got and then boom, now you got a full set.
Absolutely, and that's my idea. Again, I eventually plan to acquire that, in some form or fashion. But like until then, I'm pretty happy with like at least having like the booklet as at least some kind of representation of that.
Mhm.
All right,
Very
so my
cool.
number one, let me just make a quick adjustment over here. So my number one is a piece that I had on order for quite some time. Ugh. Don't drop it, Brian. All right, here we go. So this is my
Oh, right. Nice.
1/1 scale Michael Myers bust, done by the amazing artist Darren Holt. Yeah, this thing was I had ordered it in late 2020 actually, and it just took a long time for it to show up. There were a lot of shortages as far as like material goes, because of COVID and everything, and so it just took a while for it to get here. But once it arrived, all that time I spent waiting for it just washed away, and I was just completely in bliss. Yeah, it's just a phenomenal piece. A really great representation of the shape. Has this really cool on the back, like the pumpkin scene from the
That's
opening
really cool.
credits. Yeah, totally cool. And again, it's just a really, really wonderful piece, which I think just perfectly captures, like the shape. Yeah, it's
He knocked it out of the park with that. It's like that's crazy how it's so detailed and it looks perfect. The hair is perfect, everything.
the hair is perfect, like the skin, like the detail on the skin around like the chest and the neck area, like it looks human. Like it just blows my mind. And just the like attention to detail and the mask and the features and the coveralls. Like you got the right color on the coveralls. It's just like the attention to detail is just spot on, and everything
That,
about this just
mhm.
blows me away. And
That is nice.
yeah, one of my favorite pieces, by far. And I'm actually having Darren. He's just has a new Halloween 2 bust that he put out earlier this year, so I have one in the works as well. So
Oh, cool. Wow.
hopefully that won't be another year and a half, but yeah. So I will
Mhm.
hopefully have an H2 style one of these coming within the next 3 or 4 months or so.
That's great. I'm looking forward to seeing that. That's cool as hell.
Yeah,
Awesome.
for sure, for sure. I think these are limited. Yeah, I think he's only doing about 60 of these. So, but yeah, this is my number one acquisition of 2022. I couldn't be more thrilled with having something like this. To
No
hear.
argument there.
Again, like I walk in my Halloween room every day, and there's certain things that I just stop and stare at and just look at for like a few minutes just to appreciate. And this is one of them. It's still kind of like unsettling too, because it has these recessed eyes in here. I don't know if like it picks it up, but it just in person, it just looks so fucking real. It's just
I mean, it looks real on camera. It looks freaking real
yeah,
as hell.
yeah. It's mind blowing just how awesome this is. So this is my number one.
Awesome.
Yes, sir. Put this guy up here. All right.
Great stuff. So that, folks, is our top 10. I mean, granted, there was a lot of stuff that came out this year,
A
and Brian
lot of
sifted
stuff.
through it all, and I sifted through it all too, and we picked our top 10 officially licensed stuff that came out, and some other stuff that we picked up along the way. So I hope everybody enjoyed this video. Be sure to like and subscribe. It's going to be actually under Brian this time. And Brian, where can everybody find you?
I am Chicago Boogeyman on Instagram. Please, follow and check out my page if you're into Halloween and all things Michael Myers and the Shape.
Very cool. Yeah, be sure to hit that up. I'm actually going to include it in the description of this video. Be sure to like, subscribe to this channel. Be sure to check out the video that we did together about a month or two ago, right? Where we did a collectible spotlight with
Yes.
Brian. Talked about our first items in our collection and how we got into it and whatnot. And I'm sure Brian, I'll be doing some more in the future. I was thinking about doing this like a year-end review, and I was thinking, well, why not invite somebody on? And I'm like, well, who's another crazy collector that I could think of the top of my head? And well, you were the first person on the list.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate the fact that I was the first person that you thought of when you thought like crazy Halloween collector.
And I mean crazy in a good way.
Oh, of course.
Awesome. So hope everybody enjoys the video. Subscribe, like, go check out Brian's page, Chicago Boogeyman. It's great. All the links are below. And as of this is our year end, so this will be premiering on December 30th. So I want to wish everybody happy holidays, happy, healthy, safe New Year, and to you as well, you and your family.
Thank you, Pat. You too.
Awesome. So take care, everybody, and we'll talk to everybody soon.